Hey everybody, Paul with Road Trip Transport. Nice parking spot today at a Love's. I'm sitting here shut down for the night because I am actually, you guys can see, I'm an oversized load today. So I have to wait for a pilot car. I got to get a pilot car for tomorrow. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a Going to the Glass episode. I have some questions from last time to answer, and I'm trying a Going to the Glass. You'll notice on top of my door here I have a towel. That's to block the sun. So we're going to try this. What I'm going to do is I got you guys mounted on my rear view mirror, and look at that. We can see the whole window in there. I don't know what I did with my car. I put my markers in my pocket there. So a couple things today. We're going to start off by answering some questions, some good questions from some previous ones, and then we're going to talk about cost per mile. What I want to do is talk to you guys about this cost per mile thing and why cheap freight is killing people and they don't even know it's killing them. So we're going to get into that. So first up, a couple questions from last time here. I'm going to sit right here so you guys can see me. A couple questions from last time. Someone asked if you can get a single wheel 1 ton from Enterprise. I think you can. They're pretty rare. You'd have to wait a while for one, and I don't know why you would want one. I think it's the same price. Get the dual wheel. You'll have the more carrying capacity. You're not paying for the tires anyway. Enterprise is. Might as well get the dual wheel. Threads on the lug nut. This question was brought up. You normally want threads showing through the lug nut. This is not always the case. So without getting too deep into it, as long as you have one-time thread diameter engagement, you're good. You don't need any more than that. That trailer does. Now, the dealership does not like it. Dexter even, they said that could be a problem with an inspection. So that could be a problem with an inspection. So they do have new lug nuts that won't do that. Won't actually show the lug nuts. Miles per gallon. What type of miles per gallon? Well, I just did an IFTA report. Looks like about 9 to 9.5. You're not going to do well with these, especially loaded like I am. I'm running this thing 16 to 18,000 pounds every load. And we're back. I want to give you a couple. I'm going to give you a couple anecdotal things. This is parceling. Okay. I think what I've learned, parceling is the biggest ball of crap in the industry that I've seen. It's purely made by brokers. I'll bet you they're getting full load rates from the customer, but they're charging you a partial load. Why? Because it weighs 6,000 pounds, only takes up 10 feet of distance. I found one that took up 40 feet, and they wanted 63 cents a mile to take it to California. It's unbelievable. They said, no, it's partial. It's only 2 feet wide. What else are you going to find to fit? If it's you're dealing with length, you need to find something. The chances of you, especially with a hot shot, finding another load going in that direction that's going to fit next to that other load. Oh, and it was tarped. It's unbelievable. Okay, so this partial thing, people keep playing into this game, and I think it's killing them. And I want to give you an anecdotal reason why. Now, this partial worked, but it only worked because we went foggy there. Come back. Okay, so it only worked because the partial only worked this way because it wasn't two partials, it was two full loads. Okay, so the first one was a tractor, all right, and these numbers aren't exact, but they're pretty close. That tractor went about 180 miles, and don't use these numbers exactly because, whoops, it's not dollars. Went 180 miles. Okay. Now I show up to get the tractor, and this is the key, right? So I go to show up to get the tractor. Tractor's too wide. The axles stick out. So now I got a permitted load. So I have to deal with permits. I don't get to leave that day, which means I got to call my other customer that I'm picking up the next load, and check to make sure it's okay that I pick it up the next morning, which they were good with. We got lucky. Okay. Now, this load, I want to say it was about 180 miles direct, right? And it paid once I got the deal with the permitting figured out. It paid right at $7 a mile. Okay. Or, and this isn't going to add up. I know it. I'm not pretending it will, but it was $1,100. Okay. So that load brought me in $1,100. The next load picked up about 40 miles away and actually was literally 2 miles out of the way on the direction. So it was right on the way. I want to show you, this is why people who are taking these partials are killing themselves for no extra money. Okay. So the next load was basically right on the way. Man, we keep going flurry. The next load was basically right on the way, and it was a tarp load, and it was going about the same, about 100 and I think it was like 168 miles, maybe, and it paid $600. So both short loads, and they both went within about 50 miles from each other, 50, 60 miles. So seems really good. You would think, oh, $7 a mile. This is right at, let's call it 3. It ended up being about 3. I know it doesn't add up, but let's use these two numbers, and this is why I just want to show you what happens. So you look at this, you go, holy cow. Oh, I made $10 a mile. Well, this makes sense. Why wouldn't I partial, right? Why wouldn't I go out and get a $1.50 mile and $1.20, and I can even fit another dollar on there? Man, I'm making $3.75 a mile. Whew, that's pretty good. No, and this is the key. Now, this still paid well because it was started here. But when you factor in, and I don't remember the exact miles, but the miles from where I was parked, which you have to factor in. If you're not factoring in your deadhead miles, you're doing it wrong. Your deadhead miles cost you money, okay? You need to factor in deadhead miles. Mine, every one I have factors in a beginning, where I dropped the last load off, where I picked up the current load, where I dropped it off. Every one, okay? You need to factor in your deadhead miles. So factoring deadhead miles, the miles to go pick it up, which I said was just a couple miles, and then the extra miles to go around and come back to where it was dropping off, this ended up being about $5 a mile. Now, what I'm pointing out is this still was a good load. I'm not upset with it. That was pretty good. 5 a mile is a shorter load, so shorter loads you can always expect to get a little bit more money. But I'm just pointing out here, okay? Look at the difference. So apply that same thing to this, where you got to pick up in 3. So now keep in mind, I got to pick up in 3 locations. Sometimes I got to move my luggage around, or move my cargo around. And now all of a sudden, this load's only paying, when you factor all of your miles in, all of your drops, this load's now paying $1.50. You know, well, no, let's say $1.75. Okay, this load ends up only paying $1.75 a mile, and this is why the partials are problematic. Okay, because you're not making this, and I think so many people think they are, and you're not making this. You're making this. Now, you're also picking up 3 times. Let's say you do all that in a day. It takes you a day to drive and a day to unload. You just burned 3 days at this. Okay? And let's say it only went 500 miles. So you made, whatever that is, what's half 1750? I'm an engineer, so I know this. Yeah, 1750, what is that, 875, I think? Okay? So you made that for that load over 3 days. Divided by 3 days, so over the period of 3 days, you made basically $300 a day for all that work. It's stupid, because in that same amount of time, you could have picked up one load for $1.75, gone and found another one the next day for $1.75, and on the third day, be headed to pick up your third one, and now you've driven 1,000, let's say 1,000 miles, or even 1,200 miles in 2 days, and now all of a sudden, boom, $1.75 times 1,000, we're at $1,750, you know, to $2,000, okay? To $2,000. My writing's all turning sideways here. To $2,000. Now, look at the difference, okay? Over the same period of 3 days. So, you picked a drop. We did $2,000. I can't do math here. That's $600 and $33 a day. Is that right? I don't remember. Whatever. 650, about 650. I'm excited. I can't do math. So 650, about 650 a day, right? Look, by just taking $1.75 in one load, you made way more money. Yes, I understand that it also costs more because you went more miles, but it's not like you made directly $350. It's more like you made $200 extra a day or $150. But still, that's $150 to $200 extra a day. So I wanted to talk about this because I see this a lot, where people are saying, "Oh, that's a partial load." I'll give you a perfect example. We had a load lined up potentially for Wednesday. 4 picks. No, 1 pick, but 4 drops out in California. They wanted $1.68 a mile for the whole thing, for all 4 partials. That means our partials were paying 40 to 50 cents per mile. That's stupid. So I have 4 drops that's going to take me all the way through California. It's going to take me days to do that for 60 cents a mile, or for $1.60 a mile, and I can't get freight out of there. That's incredibly stupid. Okay, so all I want to point out is that you need to make sure when you're taking partials that you're looking at this, and know that most of these brokers don't have a partial rate in it. They have a shipping rate from it. They're trying to capitalize on you. They're trying to make 50 to 60%. I wouldn't blame them, right? I mean, they want to make more money. Why not label it as a partial? And if somebody takes it, then they've just made, if they're sitting there waiting, they've just made more money than you, and you're the one who's spending all the money shipping it. They just sit there in their computer and laugh. So I want to point this out, okay? I've been seeing a lot of this. My point is, to wrap this one up, you need to know how much your truck costs to operate, okay? Your truck and trailer. You need to know how much it operates and have a very good idea. You're not going to know down to the penny, like I showed a little range there, because you're going to have some tires that prematurely wear. You're going to have a number of things that pop up that's going to make that number change, but you need to have a good idea. And after a year, you should have an exact idea on how much the truck cost you that previous year to operate. The next thing, you need to know how much money, or what the actual rate per mile your truck's making. Now, you don't need to tell the brokers what it is or what you need per mile. They just want to know the rate. But you need to know what that truck is costing you per mile to operate. And you need to make sure that it's enough money that it's worth you continuing to deal with all the headaches yourself, and not just go drive for a nice company. I mean, there's good companies out there that pay their employees pretty dang good. So those two things. Third thing, you need to make sure that you include your deadhead miles in your calculation. If you're skipping chunks of mileage, you're not getting a good number. Saying I made $2.50 a mile doesn't mean squat if I had to drive 500 miles to get the load, okay? Because that 500 miles I did for free. If it's a 500 mile load, I drove 500 miles, paid $2.50. No, it didn't. Didn't at all, right? Paid $1.25 a mile, okay? So keep that in mind. Yes, I know there's some, and then the fourth thing is just be careful with these partials. I think they're a bunch of crap. You could definitely just partial full loads. You know, partial things that are, or if you get lucky and get something that's right on route, you know, that's another thing. But if you're not careful, those partials, I think, will kill you. I've been playing with them a little bit to try to see, and anything that I've found that is a partial rate, I can't make work. When I calculate it out, see, that's the thing. He thought it was a good deal because they were paying right at $5,000 for right at 2,000 miles. Huh, pretty good rate, right? No, because I had 4 stops. I had to drive 2,700 miles, not 2,000 miles. So that rate's junk for me because I have 700 extra miles I got to cover and 4 stops. So be very careful with those partials. So far, I have not had one load where a partial actually worked. My partials have been full loads that I partialed together. So that's it. Good rant, longer one today, and hope you guys liked it. And yeah, this actually worked pretty well with the setup like this. I might do this a little more often. I just wish it was a little taller. I got to crouch down so you guys can see me. But anyway, thank you all. Subscribe, like, do all that fun stuff. And if you have any questions similar to this one, put them down in the comments. I'll try to address them at the beginning of the next video. We'll see you guys next time. All right, I had a phone call interrupt us there. Hopefully I can splice these 2 videos together. Anyway, so somebody asked, does the added, and this ties in with another question, do you need your CDL? Yes. For this setup, you need a CDL. I am apportioned at 42,000. If you
can haul over 26,000 pounds, you have to have your CDL, and you got to follow all the same rules the big rigs do, every one of them. So you do have to have your CDL Class A. You don't need air brakes or manual because most of these are automatic. So, but you do need your CDL. Absolutely. It's already, and that's the key with the hotshot. You can make really good money doing this, but you also are limited. There's probably one load for every 100 flatbed loads. If you want ease of use, if you just want it to be easy, you want to make good money and it to be really simple, buy a flatbed. Buy a semi. Do not do what I'm doing. If you just want nice and easy, you pick up a load, you take it, you drop it off. When you go on the load board, there's hundreds of loads to choose from. You don't need to do a lot of bickering for rates. You can find some good rates on there. Don't do what I'm doing. If you want to make great money, but have a lot of headaches, do what I'm doing. You can make better money because I can make about the same rates as semi, even a little more if I do some partialing right, but it's a pain in the butt to find loads. Like I said, there's only, usually if I get on the load board and I'm in a good freight area, there's 10. And half of them they think they're going to get 50 cents a mile for. I mean, it's so don't get into this if you don't want to work on loading that trailer, because it's much harder to load this trailer. So you want as much capacity as you can. And I'll get into why we're a little bit more of that in the future. So CDL, somebody asked about the truck insurance through Enterprise. It is only on the truck, not on the trailer. You got to get your own cargo and trailer insurance. The truck insurance, that's collision from Enterprise, only covers the truck. So that gets that. I want to get into the numbers. So what I want to do today is really get into some of these numbers with you guys, because I see this all the time, and I'm on these groups and they say, oh, that $1.20 a mile load, why are you mad at that? It only weighs 6,000 pounds. You can partial it with another one. I want to give you why that's killing people, why they think they're making a lot of money, but they're not. So the first thing to start out with, okay, I have right here. I want to show you what my true cents per mile. Now this was as of 14 loads. I'm on load 16. So there's one load missing plus this load. This load will help because it's pretty good pay. But I want to show you something. The average cents per mile. I don't even have it on here, actually. I don't even calculate this. Why? Because it's silly, okay? This is my net cents per mile. A lot of these, I'm sorry, I don't even have gross. It's in here, but it's just in it. So I have a spreadsheet here, right? And that spreadsheet calculates all of my loads. So I have the cost up. I want to make a point here. If you don't know what your truck is costing you to operate per mile, or at least have a very, very good idea with a calculation to prove it, not just ballparking things, and you don't know down to the penny what your loads are paying you per mile, you're doing it wrong. You should go be a company driver. You need to know that information. I'm sorry, you do. If you're running a business, you're running a hotshot, you need to know that information. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the cents per mile. Let's see if I can get this to work. So, one of the biggest issues is that I would think on loaded miles, I'm close to two. Oh, it's backwards. I think I can fix it in editing. We're close to $2.50 a mile, okay? $2.50 a mile. That sounds amazing. But here's the catch. Right now, I can tell you, and I don't even have that in here. It's calculated, but I just ignore it because that number, people use this number and they think they're making tons of money. This is why they don't see that, hey, two partials make you $3 a mile. Hey, I'm making tons of money. No, you're not. Because here's my I'll enlighten you. Here's my true cents per mile on 14 loads. Okay? $1.92. 60 cents different, basically. Okay? Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because this truck costs me. Now, this is before I pay myself. I'm not taking a paycheck. This truck costs me, let's say about 70 to 75 cents. Again, you need to know this number, but you're not going to know it down to because it fluctuates. It's going to fluctuate a little, but it's about the 70 to 75 cent a mile. Okay? Oh, You say, that's pretty good. I'm making $1.20 a mile. No, you're not. And here's why. So that $1.20 a mile does not include, and this is what's key, this cost of, and I don't have this in my spreadsheet, this does not include the downtime, okay? The lost loads. So let's say, and that's one of the reasons I went with Enterprise, let's say your truck breaks down and you're out for 2 weeks. Let's say 2 weeks. 2 weeks down, all right? You're down for 2 weeks, you're losing money. Not only are you paying for that maintenance bill, you are losing money on top of it, okay? $1.92 is pretty good, I think, pretty good average, especially for the miles I'm running. That's over about 10,000 miles. But you're losing money. Now, keep in mind, let's say you gross $5,000 a week, okay? That is $10,000 you lost because this truck was sitting out. It's $10,000. You factor that number into this number, now all of a sudden you're looking at maybe $1.50, $1.55, let's say, okay? $1.55. You say, Paul, but that's still pretty good money. All right, well, now you got to pay someone, and you want to pay some, let's say you hire somebody. Now, you need to understand that you're the owner of this business, okay? So if I pay somebody a good rate, I figured this out, per mile, including the truck, it's around this. And that's pretty good pay, I think, what I have them set up. It costs me around $1.15 a mile. That means, let's be realistic here, I'm making 40 cents a mile as the owner. Now, if you're a single owner operator and you're not doing this, then go be a company driver. All I'm saying is the headaches that come with this, I can't even begin to tell you the headaches that come with this job. I mean, I have to try to find loads. I've been dealing with permits all day. I had to go to I had to pull into DOT into a scale and get them to go over my permits with them. You've got to make sure your logbooks are all in order. Everything a company driver does, plus everything a business owner does. The invoicing. I got to invoice. I got to follow up. I got to make sure my bill of lading. I got one customer right now calling me saying that they didn't get my bill of ladings, which one of their own guys sent me an email, said, yeah, we have your bill of lading. So I'm working on that. So my point being here that I'm going to have to figure out this deal so I can fit a little better in here. My point being here, if you're only making this much with a driver, that's decent. That's what my goal is. So, but because you have to deal with all the headaches and all the problems and all the issues and everything that comes up, and putting the money down for the insurance, putting the money down on the trailers, and buying the trailers, buying equipment, buying straps, and I mean, when you this money, where'd it go? Whatever it cost me to run, right here, this amount doesn't include the straps and the chains and the equipment and the blinky lights that I had to buy for this load and the thing on the front and food and all that. Doesn't include that. Okay, so what I'm pointing out is that if you're not making this, which I think a lot of people aren't, they're probably more like the $1.50, maybe $1.40. Okay, so now all of a sudden you're not making much more than working as a company driver for a good company. So my point being, if you don't know what this number is, and in my opinion, it doesn't have to be here. These are some numbers that I have. They're very preliminary. But if you, at the end of the day, have to decide, is the headache worth whatever this number is? Okay? Whatever that number is, or if you're driving by yourself, whatever that number is. Because that's what you get to. Well, hang on. I'm lying. $1.40 minus 70. It's going to be 70 cents a mile. So you have to decide, at the end of the day, if you're a single owner operator, is that worth it? Is it worth that to you to run your own business, deal with the headaches, yeah, it's a little bit more money. But I'm telling you, the headaches come with this. It's a 24/7 job. I took a week off last week. When you're a company driver and you take a week off, you have a week off. I worked from 8 a.m. until my wife came home at 5:30 every single day. I wanted to play some video games. I wanted to do some World of Warships with a buddy. I didn't turn it on once, not one time. I spent all my week off dealing with stuff that I had to take care of from home, calling the FMCSA, trying to make sure I'm not going to get in trouble for that. dealing with permitting for this load. Everything I had to do, okay? You have to decide, is that number worth it? That's all I'm saying. This is my number, okay? Not yours. Yours is going to be different. But this is a good, and so, this is a good idea. Gives you an idea on what we're talking about. Now, I'm going to run in here because I need to get my, so I'm going to run grab my deal. Let me pause it, and then I'll restart it.